the end you're like, huh, it leaves me puzzled a little bit.
Young directors out there, that's a lesson. Don't ever. You can now buy the VHS.
The VHS. Make it more Kubricky. Hey guys, welcome back to another Composers Reacts. If you like this type of content, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Would really help us break the YouTube algorithm. We are here with Jelle Jansen.
Hello.
Longtime friends, DJ, producer, composer, sound designer, ambient designer.
What an introduction, yes.
We worked together for a long time on music, on electronic music. So definitely check out Humanol if you're into some dance beats.
Yes.
Shall we just dive right into it? Which one did you bring?
I brought 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Classic.
Yeah.
And we have a little friend here, of course, because of it, to celebrate 2001 from Kubrick.
That's a trip on its own. Yeah.
Shall we dive into it and see how we feel about the music and everything that we know about Kubrick and the Odyssey in space?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. 2001.
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you a personal
All
question?
9000s.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about
Such
the
a
mission.
calming voice.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How do you mean?
Rumors about
remix
something
I'm
being
hearing.
dug up on the moon.
It's definitely a new trailer.
Yes.
I never gave these stories much credence,
They're doing the
but
famous
particularly in view of some of the
piano,
other things that have happened,
Born,
I find them
the
difficult to
piano
put out
now.
of my mind.
monoliths. Exciting.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do
Alright.
that.
What are you talking about, Hal?
I like that. Very minimalistic.
This
This one.
conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Goodbye. 50 years ago.
Damn. Okay.
This is a legacy release, I believe. Oh, yeah. There you go. The choir. Ligeti. This was definitely ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah. Of course. This choir, man. Here we go. Oh, nice. Of course. Oh. The shots are insanely cool.
So many of those scenes can be beautiful images. You know?
It's like paintings.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well done with this trailer. Epic in a very elegant way. Oh.
Nice.
Oh, well, this is a, I believe this is a legacy release trailer.
Yeah.
This is, of course, a new one made to honor this great movie. I believe it was somewhere in 1956.
I think 70s, right? 1970s.
Maybe it's a very old movie.
Yeah.
Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, who made it. And then again, like his choice of how he filmed this, but then also the music choice was odd, but extremely artistic at the time.
Very long movie as well. And
Yeah.
I remember it, I think watching it with you for the first time. And it's really a puzzling movie. It's not the typical movie that explains to you really in your face what the meaning of it is.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of debate also about this movie afterwards, what it meant. And so many people have so many interpretations of it, which was really cool.
You know what I always like about art, and it can be in whatever form, but it first needs to really speak to me. And then, funny enough, I see many people, of course, they want explanations.
Yeah.
But sometimes that unanswered question is the piece of art to
Yeah.
me, where it's kind of, your mind is being tricked in that sense, like, yeah, what is it? Is it going this way or that way?
Yeah.
But there is now a right or wrong or an exact path to this is what it meant.
Yeah.
I believe if it triggers that, you're like, I think it means this.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it about art. And definitely this movie, in the end, you're like, huh, it leaves me puzzled a little bit. We're talking about this movie a lot, and especially if you, it's an inspiration also for our sister company when we're creating Deliver Us the Moon and Deliver Us Mars. This whole subject about space, but then also the philosophy about we are this tiny little consciousness on a blip of a blue dot, and what does it all mean? What is the meaning of life? And kind of space exploration in combination with philosophy is something that really triggers.
Yeah.
And especially if you put it in such a cool form with great music. And I believe, but I have to rewatch it again, that it still stands today as being good, especially because of all the practical effects that he used. So you don't have that outdated CGI.
I think that's amazing. I mean, I think he also did it, Stanley Kubrick, with The Shining, of course, which is still also very good horror movie.
Yeah.
And that's when you know when you're a good director, when you make classics, when something after 50 years still stands and people do a legacy release of it.
I have a hard time rewatching something if it's too old. Then it's like, okay. And I see the kind of nostalgia in that. But for this movie, he was really, really ahead of its time in forms of visual, but also music-wise. It's not that it's too old, or maybe I'm getting older.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
But music-wise, it shows, of course, with you have the monkeys and you have the bone flying, and then kind of the image changes, and you have the gorgeous music, the classical stuff. You have the Ligeti, kind of that's a very eerie choir that's like making the other sound, and it became so iconic attached to it. Maybe one of the best music supervised movies that I could give as an example.
It's definitely a piece of art, and it's not the most easy movie to watch. I must say that at some point I had to take a break from it because it's like the scenes are really long, and I think you really have to take your time to watch it. Don't watch it after a day of work and think, let's just pop up a movie. This is not your movie. This is not. Take your time. Take a break in between and really digest it. I think it's really one of those movies that you have to digest a lot on afterwards as well. Rather than just a little snacky. Like, this is a nice little movie. It sticks, and those are the better movies, I think.
This movie is a vibe.
Yeah.
It's definitely something where you could. But in a way, I can imagine that people say, especially nowadays, new generation watching this, like, oh, this is boring as hell. But then again, if you're really into art and you want to see that there's so much stuff that you can learn from the camera use or kind of the use of music that's maybe not the most orthodox form or stuff to use. And I think it really sets the tone as well that if you work on something yourself, that you think a little bit outside of the box.
Yeah.
And especially if this is such an old movie and it still stands today, then he did something outside of the box then.
Yeah.
I'm very curious that if you would go to the movies back then and see this and hear this spectacle, if that was like, whoa, this is out of this world, this is like futuristic, or if it's kind of the same as if we would go to a new sci-fi movie right now.
I don't know. I don't know if teenagers would want to watch this. I'm not sure if younger people, and now I sound really old, but I'm not. Younger people, I'm talking about people, as teenagers, if they could
relate,
if they could enjoy this movie. I'm not sure I even could when I was a teenager, but it's so slow, but it has so many. Especially when you watch the trailer now, you see all of those, scenes, and every scene you can just pause and frame it. Right? It's so beautiful. But it does take a little bit of
commitment
to but one thing he said, and which I found really inspiring, he said, because so many people asked him, like, what is the meaning of the ending, blah, yada, yada. For years he did not provide any answer.
No.
And he basically said, I'm not just gonna provide a sort of verbal road map so you guys can interpret it this way. The beauty of it is that everyone can interpret it in a way that they see it.
Yeah.
But in the end, he did tell someone, like I But I just can't remember what he exactly said. I think it was something like, and I have to look this up, but I think what he said was the ending is about that this guy is abducted basically by aliens.
Yeah.
And he's put in a room and where they are trying to mimic basically the human world in a way, and trying to see how he develops and how he gets older, to learn from him, basically.
As an experiment to kind of observe as a big brother. Kind of like...
And there's much to that. But I think when I read the comments about that, a lot of people were disappointed. It's like, no, I had a much better theory and stuff like that.
And that's probably the whole reason why he didn't want to tell in the first place.
Exactly. So I think young directors out there, that's a lesson. Don't reveal.
Now, and I think
don't reveal.
In a way, I like it as well. And for example, if you take Inception and you have like the, of course, the, how do you call these things? This little thing, the toll, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it falling? Is it not falling?
Yeah.
You know, but I think the whole beauty is exactly that question.
Exactly.
Because it's about, is it reality or not?
Yeah.
And the same thing is with an ending like that, where you leave the theater, you leave the movie, or you're done watching, and you're thinking about that concept, and the next day you wake up and you're still thinking about it. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you want that. And if you have that answer, like, I thought something else, then go with that thought.
Yeah.
Like, that thought was already good.
There's always, as a viewer, there's always a hunger for closure, right? But leaving an open end has its beauty as well, and it keeps, I think, the attention of the viewer.
Yeah, and I think it's in a way, if you're very much into filmmaking, if you're into kind of like music supervision, how can you fit and sync music to image in a very artistic way? Definitely check this movie out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, it's a long sit.
It's like you said, it's a commitment, but I think it's worth it. And even though if you watch it in 2 times, it's also fine.
And I'm very curious, like even without the explanation, for the people that have watched it and watching this right now, what is your explanation for the ending? What do you think the meaning of this movie was? Very curious what you guys think. If it had completely different meaning, or was it very close to what Kubrick said? Also, we have to find kind of the footage where he's saying this. I'm curious as well. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
So check that out. Also, if you're a fan of Kubrick, also would love to know about what is your favorite Kubrick movie. Unfortunately, he didn't make that much, but the ones that he made, for me, are amazing. Like, it's something that we always go back to when we create new things or when we think of stuff. Music-wise, we always refer back to this Kubrick style. It becomes a kind of a term now for us.
Yeah.
Make it more Kubricky.
Yeah.
Now, amazing, classic, music-wise, film-wise, and director-wise. And I think still many directors and composers are pulling inspiration from this. And that's gorgeous to me.
Yeah. You can now buy the VHS.
The VHS. The super DVD.
Yes.
Did you know you had these big ones? It was like huge DVDs.
What? No.
Or super CD, I believe.
Super CD?
We will do another maybe a video about all the formats of where we could see things.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for bringing this one, classic,
no
and that we didn't even have this one already done with a composer. Is insane.
Surprised, yeah.
So for you guys, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Really helps us out. Hit that bell button if you want to be alerted. For now, I want to really thank you for your time and watching, and see you next time.
All right.
Hey there, I appreciate you watching the video. If you like this one, check out this video or that video. And if you want to support the channel, make sure to click on top of my head on the logo and subscribe to the channel.